What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We got a brand new season. This is season 9. It was episode 1. So last night, they were just laying the foundation. You know, they're giving you guys updates on what's going on, and you get a little glimpse as to some drama that we're going to see for this season. So if you haven't been following the news on the blogs and all that other stuff, you know, at one point, the reason why this season is delayed, because normally the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills starts in the same time frame as the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They're usually like maybe a month behind them. And it overlaps. But we're seeing them come in so late because filming had been suspended at one point because Lisa Vanderpump had stopped filming. So we see the very beginning of the episode starts off with the argument between Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump. And it seems like it's a really nasty argument. I don't know what, we don't know what precipitated it. We just see that it's really nasty, and Ken ends up getting into it and arguing with Kyle, and they basically end up they put Kyle out the house. Lisa told her to get the fuck out of her house. And you could definitely tell that Lisa was very upset. So it was a lot going on with this whole situation. So then they say 2 months earlier. So then they're going to go back to the beginning of the season and sort of bring us up to what happened. So we start this episode off just getting an update on what's going on with everybody. Kyle's having a pool party, so the text is going out to everybody, and we sort of see what's been going on during the off season, like it's football or something during the off season. Lisa's at home with Ken. We find out that her brother passed away during the off season of suicide, and she's still dealing with that and grieving with that. And Lisa she's not a very emotional person, and so she's grieving, and we're dealing with that whole situation with the grief and everything. And Jiggy is really sick, and y'all know how she feel about her dogs, and y'all know Jiggy is like their child. So that's gonna be a lot because Jiggy is sick, very sick. Lisa Rinna, her daughter's back home from New York. They went to goat yoga. I don't know what it is about this damn goat yoga. This is about the third show that I look at where they had a goat yoga scene. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand what is the thing with the whole goat yoga. First of all, I just have no desire to have an animal climbing on my back while I'm trying to exercise and sniffing my butt and just all the stuff, the poop. It's anyway. But her 2 daughters are still modeling, doing really well. Teddy, her and her husband bought a new home. They moved like 5 doors down from the house they already had, but her husband had been eyeing that house. He had been in love with that house, and then when it went on the market, he bought it, honey. And I ain't mad at him. Shoot, do what you do. Teddy's business is taking off. She said she's got like 30 coaches under her now, and they have over 500 clients. So look, I'm all about making these shows work for you. You probably had half of that before last season, and your stuff done blew up, and I'm not mad about it. What else? Kyle, she decided to stay in her home. Remember, the house had gotten burglarized, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to stay in that house or not, but she decided to stay in the house. And they are finishing the renovations and everything with the house. It looks really nice. So that's why they're having the pool party, because she said, they never had a chance to have any type of housewarming or anything like that because the house was burglarized, and then they were just trying to figure out whether they even wanted to keep the house. So that's why she's sort of having this little soiree. We see Teddy and Kyle have become really good friends. Dorit and Erica seem to have become really good friends. We see Dorit go and visit Erica, and come to find out Dorit's house was burglarized, and she said they stole all her stuff. And I'm thinking, well, what? Y'all gotta be living in a gated community and all kinds of shit. What? How people keep getting in your house? Because then Erica said that they've been robbed like 5 times. I'm thinking, what the fuck? How are these people getting in y'all house that y'all are getting robbed over and over again? And y'all got to be living in probably some of the most exclusive neighborhoods in LA. I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. These got to be inside jobs or something, because it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, but we see that they are that they're really good friends, right? So here's the first little piece of mess that goes down. We see that Teddy has been doing a lot of charity work for different organizations, and she's been doing a lot of charity work for Vanderpump. So she's become really close to Lisa and the employees there. She said also her daughter wants a dog, and so they've been taking her daughter to Vanderpump's kennel. To Vanderpump's kennel, so that she could play with the dog without them having to actually make a commitment to a dog. Okay, so you know how on these shows they love to do these split stories where you have two different people telling the same story, right? So we have Dorit telling Erica that she had gotten this dog from Lisa's kennel and that the dog just wasn't a really good fit. The dog bit her husband. They showed a picture of his nose with a really bad sore, where the dog had bit him. And she said, and the dog had even jumped at her son like a couple of times. And so she said, we thought we were giving the dog a really good home. We gave it to somebody we trusted. Come to find out, the dog ended up in the kennel. And because all of Lisa's dogs have the microchip, that when it went to the kennel, they ran the chip and found out it was one of Lisa's dogs and called Lisa. So then we flash to, well, they're telling the story at the same time, but I'm just going to do it this way. So then we flash over to the kennel, and Kyle shows up with Portia. Teddy's there with her daughter, and Lisa shows up. And Lisa is like, I really don't want to talk. The whole thing comes up about the dog. And Lisa's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I really don't want to talk about it. And her employee, Jonathan, who I think Jonathan was sort of stepping out of himself, because at the end of the day, you're an employee, and Lisa said, don't talk about it, that we don't need to discuss this in mixed company, and you continue to talk about it. See, if I was Lisa, I would have had a problem with that, because I would have been like, I told you not to speak on this, that I didn't want to discuss it, because I didn't want to turn this into a big thing, and you kept going. Now we got a problem. But neither here nor there, he kept talking, and what we find out is about the story with Dorit and everything. Now, Teddy, who already has a contentious relationship with Dorit, put her 2 cents in, talking about, well, I mean, at the very least, she could have at least called you and told you that there was a problem with the dog. Now, in Lisa's defense, Lisa defended Dorit. Lisa said, look, I talked to Dorit. I believe what Dorit told me. I do not believe that Dorit would have purposely put the dog in a kennel. I don't believe Dorit did that. I talked to Dorit, and her version of the story makes sense to me, and that's it. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm done. See, again, that's where it should have ended. Oh, but no. Messy ass Jonathan, him and Teddy are going to keep having the conversation. So then Kyle, Miss Sensitive Kyle, gets in her feelings, because she says, you know what? If that had been me, you wouldn't have defended me. You would have been coming after me. You would have been blaming me. You would have turned this into something totally different. But because it's Dorit, all of a sudden, oh, I know she didn't mean it, and everything is all good. And again, we're going back to that bullshit from last season where Kyle felt like Lisa sort of gave Dorit more of a break than she gave Kyle. So they end up getting into it. But then Lisa gets upset and starts crying, and then Kyle gets upset, and then they make up, and Lisa said, I'm just really emotional. It's just a lot going on. Again, we back to the whole brother thing and her grieving. Kyle said, I'm sorry. Maybe I overreacted, and boom, we move on, right? But this dog thing is about to be a problem. So Lisa Rinna's having lunch. New members of the new member of the cast this season looks like it's Denise Richards, right? And I'd actually heard about that. So Lisa's having lunch at her house to invite, and introduce Denise to everybody. And Erica comes over, and who else came over? Dorit came over. I think that was it. Now let me say this to y'all. I don't understand people who do certain things, okay? And here's a couple of things I don't understand that people do. I don't understand people who kiss their dogs in the mouth. I don't understand people who allow their dogs to eat or drink off of their plate. It was a scene at the beginning of this episode where Lisa is letting the dog drink from her teacup. I don't understand that. I don't understand people who allow bugs to be on their food and don't tell nobody that bugs were on their food. Lisa, talking about you. Now, I like me some Lisa Renner, I do. But Lisa brings the food outside on the, out on the deck, and she had it covered in plastic. But the flies had gotten underneath the plastic because she didn't have it, tight. So the flies had gotten under the plastic. She gonna take the plastic off and say, oh, well, they're not gonna eat it anyway. And keep moving. Okay. That was bad enough. But what made that worse was when they were getting ready to make a plate, she encouraging them to eat it. At no point did you say, look, y'all, it was a couple of flies on it, but it's good. That's nasty, Lisa. Nasty. But that's just my 2 cents. So anyway, it was a nice lunch. Erica, Denise, and Dorit, and they're basically talking about Charlie Sheen and, Lisa's history with Charlie Sheen and how she knows Denise and that whole thing. Basically bringing her onto the show and addressing the elephant in the room. Erica, y'all know Erica. Y'all know I love me some Erica. Erica's like, so, tell me about Sheen. Tell me about Charlie. How's it going? How's that situation? But it was a good lunch. It looked like, other than the nasty ass flies on the food, it was a nice lunch. So then we see Dorit and her husband, PK, going to lunch with Lisa and Ken. And they're having a good lunch. They're talking about stuff that people talk about, couples and stuff, what's going on and everything. So Lisa said, I want to just say this so we can talk about it and move on from it. And I just want to say to you that I do believe your story, or I have no reason to doubt your story about what happened with the dog. She said, however, Teddy is really good friends with Jonathan because she's been working with us, and Teddy was talking about it to Kyle. So Dorit's thing was, so PK sort of got offended. He was like, well, what do you mean you believe us? Like, of course you believe us. Like, we wouldn't have purposely put the dog in the kennel. Like, we wouldn't have done that. So, like, why would you even feel like you had to say, oh, I believe your story? And then Dorit was like, I'm not understanding where all this is even coming from, because I called Lisa when it happened. Like, I called Lisa and told her, look, we had to find another home for the dog. I didn't know the dog was going to end up in the kennel. I thought I gave the dog to a good option. The dog ended up in the kennel. And I don't understand how Teddy, of all people, the person I have the biggest problem with, how she even gets to put her 2 cents in the whole situation. And so, honey, it was, Lisa said, thank you, I'm glad, everything is good, let's move on. And they sort of moved on, but again, you see where this dog situation is going to become a problem, right? The pool party. The pool party that we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. We're at the pool party, and it looks really nice. Kyle, the backyard looks very southern hospitality. They got a swing in the pool, and it looked really nice. And everybody is there. Camille is there. Faye Resnick, she's there. And everybody's there in their caftans and bikinis and bathing suits, and it just looked like it was a really good time, right? Everybody's having a good time, got a nice spread. We get to see, what Kyle's done new to the house and all that good stuff. Lisa shows up, and she's sort of being Lisa. She's a little standoffish, but she's not rude. But she's not overly, hey, everybody, how you doing kind of thing. Now, Teddy and Dorit are sort of doing this polite, hey, how you doing kind of thing. But here's how God be working stuff, right? Their two kids are actually like each other and are sort of becoming friends. And so the moms are going to have to get along. The moms are going to have to get along because the sons actually like each other. And I want to say that not Dorit, Teddy's son invited Dorit's son to his birthday party. So, they sort of going to have to kind of get along, right? Lisa tried to talk to, Lisa Rinna tried to talk to Vanderpump about, her brother and everything. And Lisa was like, I really don't want to talk about it. And to Lisa's credit, because, Lisa Rinna can sometimes beat a dead horse, she let it go. She did. She let it go. And the event was actually pretty uneventful. They all had a really good time, and Denise is there, so she's meeting the crew and all that good stuff. And honestly, that's pretty much that was it. You see where this dog situation is going to build up, but that was pretty much where we were. Not a whole lot more went down. So anyway, that was it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.